I'm your host for today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show for you guys today. Today's Thursday, which means it's the free show, okay? Which means you guys don't get, if we don't get paid, you guys don't get paid. That's right. So ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce our attorneys.
They don't get paid, we don't get paid.
Exactly.
Wait.
Exactly.
Jackie went out last night.
I did. It was a fun Wednesday night.
The restaurants, it's over for her.
It's downhill now, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, before I introduce our attorneys, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you guys, there's a number on that screen. Please give us a call, 888-88-LEGAL. The show is live. If you're watching from YouTube, from Facebook, go ahead and click that subscribe and like button. Go ahead and share it, because you never know who may need this kind of information. So I would love to introduce today our special guest, Trish Widowfield. Thank you. And she is talking to us today about medical malpractice. Of course, Jennifer Pratt.
Thank you, Jackie. It's a pleasure to be here this evening with you all.
And Yoel Damas.
Thank you, Jackie. It's a pleasure to be here again.
So once again, it's the free show. So we're going to be talking a little PI, personal injury, medical malpractice. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to Yoel.
Actually, Jackie, this is a special free show. Oh. We're going to focus maybe not exclusively on medical malpractice, but we are lucky to have Trish. Can I call you Trish?
Of course.
Trish on here with us, and we're going to get into, what her background is, but she's a special guest. She brings a world of knowledge into an area that many people might talk about, but they don't necessarily do it every day like Trish does. If you don't mind, Trish, a little bit about you, a little bit about your firm, how you got to where you're at, and how you got to the world of medical malpractice.
Well, thank you for the gracious introduction, first off. My name is Trish Widowfield. I've been doing medical malpractice my entire career. For the first 10 years of my career, we actually represented doctors in hospitals. About 3.5 to 4 years ago, we made the switch to now we represent patients and families. The reason that that's important and is kind of special is because it gives us an added advantage. It gives us an advantage as far as how the defense is going to try and defend the case, how they might try and value the case, and it also gives us an advantage because we've worked with experts in all specialties. I have many of them on my cell phone on my cell phone, and easily accessible to me, and that is what makes or breaks a case, is the experts.
And usually on this program, we, on this free show, like we like to call it, and again, the reason why it's free is if you don't get paid, neither do we. And, we're going to jump all over the place, Trish, but medical malpractice cases are expensive to try, right?
Yes, they certainly are, and you hit it on the head when you said that not very many people actually do it. And the smart people don't. Because they're expensive.
That's why we give it to Trish.
That's right. So a typical medical malpractice case, we tell our clients that from the time we get the case until the time that it goes to trial, we're going to spend, meaning the firm is going to spend, between $150,000 and $250,000.
Wow.
Right.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
$150,000 to $250,000. And whenever I say through trial, I say that intentionally because we don't take any case that we don't intend to take all the way through trial. We need to believe in it. Exactly. We need to believe in it all the way through, and we have a reputation that we're not afraid of the courthouse, and we intend on keeping that reputation. And when you say, we don't get paid unless you get paid, that $150,000 to $250,000, my firm eats unless you have a recovery, unless you have a settlement or a verdict. So that's our money on the street.
Wow. Thank you so much, Trish.
And that's a big difference from your typical just accident or type of personal injury or tort claim, right? I mean,
even ones that we litigate even in-house, the car accident cases, you typically don't need an expert. Your doctors will cost you money to come on to testify, but it pales in comparison. I would say probably one of the most expensive, maybe $5,000, $10,000. That's like a lot. That means we took a lot of depots, we took a lot of transcripts. I had that one case where the gentleman went to UM Medical. The medical records in itself were like $800, but pales in comparison. That's not what we do at all. We do not spend $150,000 on a regular car accident case. That's a lot of money.
And going back to Trish, so in these type of cases, I imagine part of your staff is somehow associated with the medical profession, right? Maybe nurses, or because it sounds like you really got to evaluate these cases before taking them.
Right. So just to give you a little bit of background, my firm has 3 in-house nurse paralegals who basically take those giant medical records that Jen was just talking about and digest it for us lawyers. We like to think that we know a lot about medicine based on the number of years we've been doing it, but we don't. So we need those nurses to basically digest it to us, to let us know, okay, here's where we think there might be the negligence, here's where they should have done that, here's where they shouldn't have done that. So we do have medical paralegals in-house, which is somewhat unique even in the world of medical malpractice. A lot of people outsource that, but we have found the value of having those people at our beck and call, basically.
Thank you so much, Attorney Widowfield. Ladies and gentlemen, 888-88-LEGAL, that's the number to call. It's on the screen. The consultation will be free.
And again, I know this program, usually we speak on Thursdays about labor law and work accidents, and this might be a very specific area that you might say, well, hold on, I mean, doctor hasn't done anything to me. And in the next segment, because we got to go to a commercial really soon, I want to talk to Ms. Widowfield about, what is a medical malpractice case? How do you know you've had medical malpractice? I mean, I guess the obvious ones, so-and-so passed away and we believe that they did something wrong, but there might be instances where you might not even think someone did something wrong, and it's still worth making that phone call and us having a look at that case, especially when the case is where someone has been harmed possibly for life, where they've ended up without a limb or in some type of coma or in some type of vegetative state or even passed away. And I think part of the thing, a lot of people might say maybe there's no case. And the answer is 888-88-LEGAL. The consultation is free. The phone call is free. Taking a look at this case is free. And just understand that the right professionals are on standby to take a look at that for you. And it's as simple as dialing that number, 888-88-LEGAL. We're going to a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking with our special guest today, Trish Widowfield, who is talking to us a little bit about medical malpractice. And we're going to get back into that conversation, but I do want to remind you guys that the show is live, so give us a call if you have any questions. The number is 888-88-LEGAL. The number on the screen again, 888-88-LEGAL.
Thank you, Jackie. And again, on Thursdays, we spend a lot of time going into these labor cases, personal injury cases. We try to explain what the difference is between getting hurt at work and getting hurt just in a basic car accident. And here again, this is not, today we have a special guest, and we're talking about specifically medical malpractice. And we left off the last segment talking about, or having Trish explain to us in I guess the simplest way possible, what is medical malpractice and what really, what defines that a medical malpractice case may have happened?
Sure. So a medical malpractice case is a case in which someone is injured or has died as a result of medical negligence. What is medical negligence? It means that someone either did something that they shouldn't have done or did something that they shouldn't have done. Wait, did I say that both the same ways? I did. They either did something that they shouldn't have done or didn't do something that they should have done. Right. Now I have it.
Right.
So basically, there's what's called the standard of care. For example, you go to your cardiologist. He does a battery of tests. He should have sent you for a heart catheterization. He doesn't. Is that medical malpractice? What you have to look at is what's the standard of care. That means what does a reasonable cardiologist do? A reasonable cardiologist would have sent you for a cardiac cath. That means that there's medical negligence. And that's why, just to tag on to what we were talking about before, that's why these cases are so expensive, is because you need an expert to sign off on these cases from the beginning. So when you are filing a claim, you need an expert to sign an affidavit that says that Dr. So-and-so was below the standard of care. You can't move forward without that expert.
Well, the truth is that the average person probably watching this program today really doesn't know what that standard of care is.
Correct. So typically what I tell people is when to call is if there's been a bad outcome. Let us decide whether or not there's something below the standard of care. So if there's an unexpected death, if there's an unexpected, somebody is in a vegetative state or in a coma, if there's an unexpected, some sort of catastrophic injury, an unexpected return to surgery, those are the types of things that I encourage people to call and let us vet whether or not it's within the standard of care or outside of the standard of care.
During the break, we were speaking a little bit about, I guess, pregnancies, right? And complications during pregnancies. And I think a lot of people, when there's complications or a baby is born with some type of issues, they tend to say, well, that's nature, and this is just what was supposed to happen. The truth is that a lot of times it could be malpractice, right?
It could be, and there's a lot of reasons why. So if there's a baby who, and a lot of times you don't even know right when the baby's born, but you can find out as they don't meet their milestones. So if they're not meeting their milestones and the pediatrician is starting to say, it looks like the baby might have some brain damage, some people just accept that and move on. However, you need to look back to the actual birth itself and the pregnancy itself to see, okay, well, was the birth prolonged? Was the baby in the birth canal too long? Was the baby laying on the umbilical cord? Was the umbilical cord wrapped around the neck? Should something have been done sooner to prevent that type of injury? And, as you said, there might not be, the audience might not have that experience directly, and I hope you don't, but you might know somebody who's been through that.
And the truth is, Attorney Pratt, I would think most people that are dealing with that, the last thing they think about is, was my doctor negligent? Right. And there could be recovery. The truth is that you have a human being here that may suffer now for the rest of their life because of someone's negligence, and it's something that is worth a simple phone call, right?
It really is, and I think, I'm not a mother, first and foremost, but I have a lot of friends that are mothers, and I think that what will happen is, and I think this is almost our womanly instinct, is that we'll say, well, what did I do wrong during the pregnancy? Did I smoke? Did I drink? Did I go out and party too much? Was it something I did that may have caused this to my child? Is it my husband or my spouse? Does he have a wrong gene, or is it genetic? And I think we leave the actual medical malpractice part as the last, if ever, option. And so I think that's really important, because it's really easy, especially postpartum, from my understanding, to blame ourselves as women and being in a depressive state, that somehow we had a role in this. And so I think it's really important to keep this aspect important. And I do want to mention that there is a statute of limitations. Attorney Widowfield and I were talking about it with regards to these claims, so you shouldn't wait too long.
I don't mean to cut you off. We do got to go to a brief commercial according to production, but I do want to talk about the statute of limitations. I do want to remind you that whether it's you, maybe you've been blaming yourselves for years, don't. Make the call. Let us find out if something else happened during birth or during those that time during the 9 months that you were pregnant. Who knows? Who knows what there could be? We got to take a quick commercial break. I want to talk about elective procedures and COVID when we get back, because I think that's something very interesting that Trish was mentioning during the break that you guys need to know about. 888-88-LEGAL. Don't go anywhere.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackie Mendez, and today we have our special guest. We've been talking about medical malpractice with attorney Trish Widowfield. And before the break, we did get a question in from one of our callers, Sandra, who wanted to ask you, attorney Widowfield, is there a certain time frame, like a cutoff time, where you can actually make a case? Is there, a certain cutoff time for that, or?
Sure. It's called the statute of limitations. That's the fancy name for cutoff time. Okay. But for medical malpractice, it's 2 years in Florida from when you knew or should have known of the malpractice. Now, what does that mean? You either knew it right away, so this is a silly example, but say I go in for surgery on my right knee and they perform surgery on my left knee. I'm going to know that same day. So it's going to be 2 years from that day. But a different example is diagnosis of cancer. So a lot of people don't know that they had cancer or that it could have been previously diagnosed until it's actually diagnosed. So it would be the 2 years from the date of the diagnosis.
And same thing goes with the cases leading with children that we're talking about. The truth is they're born, and it isn't for an amount of time that they know that there's these conjugative issues that start coming up, and at that point, I guess, is when they would realize.
Correct. And not to get too technical, but there is a 4-year absolute cutoff. So if your child is 7 years old and you're just now realizing that his his brain damage is likely caused from his birth, it's beyond that time.
So ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're watching this program, you might say, I don't have kids, or I have kids and they're grown, or they're 7, or they're 20. It doesn't matter. Share it. Send it to someone. You never know who you might help by them just simply watching this program. Now, Attorney Trish, COVID. it's canceled a lot of elective procedures, and now I'm talking, well, to everyone, but especially to my older generation, kind of, where they typically go to these elective procedures that are really necessary, and they've been canceled over COVID, and we all understand that the concern that COVID has raised for everyone, but the truth is that there might be some medical malpractice there as well, right?
Sure, I see it in a couple of different ways. Number one, people are going to their doctors less during this pandemic. Number two, they're getting lab work less during the pandemic. And then what you hit on is the elective procedures. And it's a fuzzy line as to what's considered elective. You know, a heart catheterization is typically not elective. It's typically the sooner the better. You know, bypass surgery is typically the sooner the better. But there are other procedures where someone might push that off until after the pandemic or after, I think that now they are doing all of elective surgeries, but that delay in time could have caused injuries or damages that could be attributed to medical malpractice. I would say the majority of the medical malpractice is likely going to be in the lack of doctor's visits, lack of follow-up, lack of lab values. And then, to a certain extent, the elective surgeries.
And as an example, and this might not be the exact case because thank God this person is fine, but I know of someone that went in with certain pain in her stomach to the hospital, and they couldn't perform a colonoscopy because of COVID. There was no one available, and it got complicated for her. Again, she is fine, so it wouldn't be the situation. But I could see where things get really bad over something that was elective outside the hospital scenario, but she needed to be able to get diagnosed to see what was really happening. I think that's what we're talking about.
Exactly, exactly. And it could be anything from mammograms to colonoscopies to endoscopies. You know, anything that needs to be on a certain timely basis, whether it be yearly or every 5 years, and people are pushing those off. Now, is there going to be any sort of systems in place to catch those that have been pushed off? You know, okay, we canceled this person because of the pandemic. Have they been rescheduled, or are they just going to get pushed to the next 5-year mark or the next year mark? That's the risk.
Okay, thank you so much, Trish. To all our viewers watching right now, that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL, give us a call because that first consultation will be free.
Attorney Pratt, Trish stole your show. You have not, you are the star, you have not been able to hardly talk.
Can I tell you, I am just absolutely mesmerized by Attorney Widowfield and her expertise and her knowledge and everything that she brings to the table with medical malpractice. And I obviously say the word expertise is my opinion, obviously. But she just is very knowledgeable, and I've worked with her in the past to decipher whether or not, you know, that we have a case, and I can't think of a more professional, you know, human being that really takes the time to review the records and give us an honest, upfront, you know, opinion. And coming from somebody like her, who's not dabbling in this, who's not someone who just started this last year, I really take her opinion and I run with it, and I really do appreciate her being on the show, and so she can steal my thunder as much as she wants today. No problem. I will, what do they say in Congress? I will defer the minutes, you know, whatever it is. I'll yield my time to the lady from Aventura.
Attorney Widowfield, I want to really thank you for being on here. I don't know if you have some closing words for our viewers. Definitely please remind them that if they think there's something there, to please call.
Of course, please do. Let us vet it for you. We handle medical malpractice cases throughout the entire state of Florida. I'm with Halexter, Pettis & Schwalm. We're working very in close contact with PraDa Law. Please call and let us vet those cases for you. It's important and it's timely, as I just said.
Thank you so much, Trish, for joining the show today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. If you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share that link, ladies and gentlemen. You never know who you may be helping, if not yourself. Maybe a family member, a close friend. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to PraDa Law Live today and every day. Tomorrow's Friday. We hope you have a great Friday. Don't forget to join us and tune in then. Joel, any last words?
Sure. I will leave with this. Don't blame yourself if something is wrong, especially if you've been to a doctor, to a hospital, and there is a chance that they did something wrong to you. It's simple. It's 888-88-LEGAL. It's share, subscribe, and like this program. We'll see you tomorrow.